Revenge films.
My name is Tom. I live with my wife, Nancy. It's been 5 years since we got married, and I was turning 30 this year. I loved her goofy personality, and I was excited to go home every day after getting married, so I would go home straight after I was done with work. I thought I'd stay with her forever as a lovey-dovey couple, but it didn't last long. It was right after our trip to celebrate our 5th anniversary when my wife started to act different. When I praised how delicious the food was at the restaurant, my wife seemed motivated, saying,
"I'll try harder so that I can be a better cook."
When we got home, she told me,
"I want to start taking cooking classes."
I was happy to see that she wanted to cook me delicious meals, so I happily said okay. She was a housewife, so she looked excited to go to cooking class every week. At first, she cooked me the meals she learned how to make, but after 2 months, it already seemed like she lost interest in cooking and only cooked me easy recipes. She also looked weirdly excited in the morning on the day she had cooking classes, and it looked like she was being more feminine. I was worried to see her change, but I trusted her that she would never betray me, so I never questioned her. One day, when I was on my way to get lunch after visiting my client, I saw a couple enter a hotel, although it was during the day. The woman was looking around her cautiously, and I went pale after seeing her face. It turns out that she was my wife. My wife was wearing a youthful dress I've never seen, and it seemed like she tried her best to look cute. I quickly took a photo of them and decided to interrogate her. That night, when I went home, my wife greeted me as if nothing was wrong. My wife greeted me,
"Welcome home."
and I showed her the photo I took this afternoon out of nowhere. When I asked her, "Who is this?" my wife answered,
"It's not me. I think we just look alike."
"It's obvious that this is you! Who is this guy?" I asked her, but she kept saying that she had no idea. When I told her that I'll find out soon enough if I hire a detective, she finally said,
"I'm sorry."
After staying silent for a while, when I asked her for the details, it turns out that she was cheating on me with a guy she met at her cooking classes. I was shocked to realize she had betrayed me, but I loved her from the bottom of my heart, so I thought I'd forgive her if she breaks up with him. But my wife said something unbelievable. When I told her break up with him, she replied firmly,
"I can't do that."
I was shocked and said, "Huh?" But she said,
"I'm serious about him."
The moment I heard that, I decided not to forgive her and to make her pay compensation money. The next day, my wife was gone when I woke up, and I found the divorce papers that were already filled in. When I went to her room, her stuff was all gone. I panicked and called her, but she had already changed phones, and I couldn't even contact her. I desperately looked for my wife, who disappeared, but she was nowhere to be found. 3 days after her disappearance, I visited the cooking class. When I told the teacher about what happened,
"I can't believe my students had an affair."
and she struggled to hide her shock. The teacher apologized to me over and over again, saying she wanted to make it up to me somehow. She offered to give me free cooking lessons, but I was not in the mood back then, so I went home without giving her an answer. In the end, I couldn't find her no matter how hard I looked, so I submitted the divorce papers 2 months later. I was upset for a while, but I knew I couldn't just shut myself in, so I thought I'd start something new. Then I remembered about the cooking classes. After she left me, and now that I lived alone, I only ate fast food, so I decided to learn how to cook to freshen things up. When I visited the cooking class again, the teacher came to greet me happily. After I started taking cooking classes, I realized how fun it was to cook, and I quickly got obsessed with it. After getting used to taking cooking classes, I was learning how to cook as usual when I realized a woman was looking inside our classroom from the outside. It was as if she was looking for someone and she wasn't moving at all. She was still looking into our classroom when I was about to leave, so I got interested and asked her, "What's wrong? Are you looking for someone?"
Yes, my brother who went missing used to take cooking classes here, so I thought he might be here.
She replied. At that moment, I realized that she was the sister of my wife's secret lover. When I asked, did he go disappearing after having an affair, she was surprised.
Why do you know?
So I told her, I'm the ex-husband of the woman your brother was seeing. She apologized to me as she cried. I noticed people staring at us, so I asked her to join me at a cafe and talk after she calms down. Her name is Jane, and while she investigated about her brother who disappeared, she found out about the affair between him and my ex-wife. I kind of figured, but it turns out my ex really ran away with her secret lover. Now that I'd gotten to know that, I felt like it was foolish to be trapped in the past. After exchanging contacts with her, we decided to share what we knew. I was no longer looking for my ex-wife, so I didn't find any new information, but Jane let me know about the smallest things. As I met up with her several times, I realized that I was falling for Jane's determined personality. Just when I began to realize my feelings for her, Jane asked me if I could be her boyfriend. It looks like she had feelings for me already. And then we started dating, seriously. Our relationship was going nicely, and a year later, I went to meet her parents. Once her parents saw me, they apologized again and again, saying,
I apologize about my oldest son.
When I replied, it's about the past, and smiled, the atmosphere softened. Jane's father was the CEO of a housing manufacturer that was well known locally, so he struggled because his son had gone missing and there was no one who would take over the business. He told me, I want you to think about being the heir after you get married. Half a year later, when I went to inform them that we were getting married, her parents were very happy about our marriage, and they even ordered sushi for us to celebrate. When we were enjoying our food and opening bottles of beer, we suddenly heard the door open. The next thing we know, my ex-wife and her boyfriend, who was Jane's brother, came inside. She couldn't hide her shock to see me there. My ex-wife was pregnant and her belly was big. When she saw me, she exclaimed,
Why are you here?
And then her boyfriend said, I don't care. Dad, hire me at your company again. I know you're struggling to find an heir. He was unable to find a stable job and didn't have a stable income, but my ex-wife got pregnant. They were struggling to make ends meet, so they came to ask for his parents' help. I'll go to work starting tomorrow, so you better pay me next month, he said. But my father-in-law replied, I've already found the heir, so you no longer belong here. He looked at my face. You don't have to make your decision now. I'll wait until you're ready to take over the business, he said. So I replied, I'm ready to make my decision. Then his son said, What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? My wife is pregnant. We can't make a living if I don't have a job. He was getting mad. Hearing that, Jane yelled,
It's none of our business. Do something about it on your own.
My mother-in-law spat out,
Can you never visit us again? We have to change the lock of the door.
No longer able to say anything, my ex-wife and her husband left looking upset. They had nowhere to go to, and they had to wander the streets without a job or any property. According to a rumor, they got into a huge fight because they had no money and broke up before having their baby. Looks like my ex-wife became a single mother. After I married Jane, I started working at my father-in-law's company, and I was living a more affluent life. We found out that my wife was pregnant a year later, and we were happier now that a new member was joining our family. I promised myself to cherish my wife, baby, and parents-in-law so that our happiness would last forever.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.